back, guys. It's us again. It's me, Jess. We've got Brittney back again this week, too. And then our guest this week is Vanessa. She works at the bar with us. She's very special to us.
Hello. With not one but two Kava love drinks.
Yeah, I gotta stock up.
Logos out. What was your first experience with Kava and botanical tea?
Okay, so I first really heard about it when I was in California, but you weren't able to drink it in California unless you were 18, so it took me a little bit, but I was always super interested. I always wanted to try something that's alternative, because I heard that it was kind of very native to Hawaii and stuff, and that really excited me. And I really liked how online when I would read about it, it kind of gave you a psychoactive effect. So I didn't really drink it for the first time until my 18th birthday, when I lived here at the time, and I stopped at Kavatender, the one that was in Bonita.
Okay.
And it's kind of funny too, because I was oh, I need to wait till I'm 18, because I thought it was something more legit, kind of like how people ID you when you're 21 with alcohol. Mm-hmm. I show up to the bar and no one fucking ID'd me, so I was all right, I wasted years of waiting for this moment. There's no point of doing that. Just trying to be a good person, I guess. But yeah, I tried it in Kava culture, and I was actually super obsessed with Kava in the beginning.
I would get Kava all the time in the beginning.
No, I was obsessed. It was bad. I had 5 drinks of the most premium Kava with extra shots, extra everything, and I'd have 5 and I still wouldn't feel a whole lot. Mm-hmm. I didn't start drinking botanical teas until I started working at a Kava bar. The first Kava bar that I worked at is one in Vanderbilt Plaza, and that kind of introduced me to a little bit more, and then ever since then.
Why do you keep tapping her on the leg?
No, that's so nice. Thank you.
I'm trying to gently let her know that she keeps saying the wrong word.
I know, and it's out of habit.
Oh, literally.
That's what I'm saying. I literally knew this was gonna happen.
It's just I've got my hand here ready, so I can just be just so you know for the next time I say that.
But yeah, I basically really hit it off with botanical teas ever since then. I've been drinking that ever since. It's my new fixation.
Do you think that you feel more off the Kava now? Because I know you said you had a bunch of extra shots and stuff and didn't feel much, but it does have the reverse tolerance.
Yeah.
So when you drink it now, do you feel it more?
Honestly, I wish I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. I don't know if it's already because I have such a high dominance in my GABA receptors that's already in my brain, so I don't think it really affects me as much as it would for someone else, because I'm already so calm every single day, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm already such a chill person. And it probably does affect me, but it just gives me such a mild effect that I'm just kind of I just feel more like myself.
Yeah.
If anything,
It's such a different effect from the tea, too, that if you're used to the feelings of the tea, you don't notice the feeling of the Kava because it's such a different thing. But I felt like I had ants under my skin this morning. I did not sleep last night, and I was just edgy and irritable all morning, so I got my Kava with boosters in it, and now I feel like a normal human being again.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes that's all you're gonna feel is just
elevated.
Yeah,
just kind of balanced.
Yeah, just back
but
to.
It's super weird because I've literally taken the Kava extract shots. So we have Kava extract shots. I don't know if you guys have talked about it, but basically it's literally the most concentrated, strongest type of Kava you could probably have in this area. And I took 4 shots of those in a row, and I still didn't feel anything.
Oh, I feel Kava crazy.
Cindy went home sick off of them the other day because Michael's take another
I feel
one.
she's done that twice now, where she's done too many Kava shots back to back.
Michael to take more
She
shots.
said no today when I was in there, and me and Michael had a shot each. She turned it down. She was I'm at work.
Yeah,
it is strong though.
Yeah.
In the flavor.
The flavor
It's sucks, but it works.
It's pine salt.
Me, but
It's it's like a shot of like house cleaner. It tastes so bad. It tastes so, and there's no getting used to it. There's no like, oh, it gets better every time. It gets easier. No, sometimes just the smell of it will make me be like,
That's how it was with me with Baki Bombs.
I still haven't had one.
We're really good at selling our product, clearly.
Well, like
it tastes like crap.
It tastes like only that shot tastes like
very
crap.
Earthy. Some people don't mind the taste.
Some people are like okay with it. I'm not that person.
I don't need a chaser whenever I do Kava shots.
Oh, I do.
See, like everybody's different, and like I wouldn't
extract shots or just plain Kava.
Both.
Oh, I'm fine with straight Kava.
Anything.
I can drink straight Kava fine, but the shot, like I can't do it. Like the taste of it is just too much for me, and I don't know if it's the taste and the smell, but like my taste buds just like don't like it.
I feel like it also like it coats the inside of your mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
it goes through your salivary gland.
Yeah. So it's like there's no getting rid of it.
No. The only thing that I found to like chase, because everyone chases it with like lemonade. Seriously, you just like drink some Kava after, and it takes the taste right out.
Yeah.
Like a clean slate. But chasing it with lemonade, now you have lemonade and this flavor. But if you just drink like a little bit of Kava after, it just like completely voids it out.
I mix mine with strawberry and chocolate.
You turn it into a drink.
It's so weird though, because literally it's like I don't have that, but if I have, let's say, like a Baki Bomb, I literally will gag as if I'm taking a tequila shot. Like my body rejects the living shit out of it. Like
I still haven't had one.
Dude, no.
I don't want to.
Like in the beginning it's like fine, but once you start taking them repetitively the same way everybody takes Kava extract shots repetitively, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was on like kind of like like a time period where I was kind of like Baki Bomb, Baki Bomb, Baki Bomb. I would do like 2, and like it came to a point, because I would do them every single day almost, like it came to a point where my body was like, stop doing this.
So the Baki Bomb too is the botanical tea extract. So we have the Kava extract shot, and then the Baki Bomb is the tea extract, and it's like it looks like a black sugar. It looks like a black sugar that it's like glittery.
Do they add glitter in there?
No.
I don't. I think it's just sparkly.
Because I checked, and it looks like a little glitter.
No, I think it's just like the crystals of it. They're like little tiny crystallized.
We have the best botanical tea out there. I was about to say it again.
No, but these are all like extras that you can like explore and like take shots and stuff like that. But there really is no need to like, at least for me, like I don't feel the need to take anything other than like my regular tea. Like I don't need that like extra boost. Like we have people who come in who have like severe anxiety, severe pain.
Or their tolerance is like too big.
Right. And they're looking for like that extra something. Or they're just like interested because we have so many different products that do so many different things. So it's like, oh, I want to try that. I want to try that. And then like when one person's doing it, everyone else is like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
But it's like we have all of the regular drinks that don't taste
yeah, no, they taste good. But that's
like
we kind of talked about that. I think it was with Michael, where we were like, the Kavatenders at our bar like won't push any of the boosters or shots or anything like that if you're new to it.
I was gonna say, if you're new, steer away, because you could get like very nauseous really fast. If you like have a high tolerance for like alcohol, for example, and you need to drink a good amount in order to get any effect really, so I would say that like it's the exact same thing for botanical teas, where you kind of have to drink a good amount if your body weight and your metabolism processes like that, you know. Some people just need more, and some people don't need as much, depending on how sensitive you are.
Yeah, I know with the tea, I never have to have a booster, but with Kava, like I put boosters in my Kava and I'll do the Kava shots. But with the tea, I get crushed. So it's stronger anyway.
I love the crushed.
I love the crushed.
It's so good.
Brie for the longest time was like not for it in the beginning, because she was like, dude, it's literally not as strong as powdered, and I was like, there's no way.
No,
I think
it's
our
I had to like
powdered
really
is pretty
push
good.
it.
Our powdered is
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like I've tried some powdered at some other places,
And it's
not.
nasty.
It's
Yeah.
not good at all.
So I think compared to ours, like,
They're,
it doesn't
like-
seem like that crazy of like an updo. Because we'd have people who literally came in, asked for Crush, and we didn't have it, so they would leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, is it really that much like better? Like,
I feel the Crush stronger than I feel the powder.
100%.
I definitely feel it stronger. I mean, with the way it's brewed, it's literally pulling it straight from the leaf, and it's just soaking in there. But with the powder, it has to go through like this whole other process. And
You know what I've noticed though? So I've noticed that like some people, if they're like such a long-term user of crushed botanical teas, they'll actually switch back into powdered, and they'll actually get more of an effect when they do that, and they start drinking powder again. Because Ty, he literally can't drink the botanical crushed leaf anymore because it upsets his stomach because it's so strong that his body can't tolerate it anymore. So he switched back to powdered, and it works for him. And I actually recently experimented myself with it because I was like, well, because I don't really get a huge effect off of this stuff. It really just like levels me out, if anything. So I tried Gold, you know, the strain Gold, which is kind of like a body relaxing, like ultra relaxing feeling. And I definitely felt it. Like I had like a huge body high, which is super weird because it's not like I've gone that off of red.
yeah, well,
Crush
yeah,
in a while, you know what I mean?
yeah.
and I think that's like kind of like the fun part of all the different products that we have and like the different levels to it, because you can kind of pick how you want to feel, how strong you want to feel it, and then you get to have fun kind of like exploring like your limits and like how far can I push this and how far can I push this and like where exactly
Once you
do I
get
wanna
that
be.
like understanding of it, you can like play around with the different drinks and see how everything makes you feel, and you can like actually do all
It's
that.
kind of like marijuana, you know, you kind of have to understand like your tolerance with it. Some people need a whole joint, some people just need one hit.
I can't have any of it.
You know what I mean? So it's like you
Can't do
kind of
any
have
of
to
it.
play around with yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Yeah. And I think it's in like on that note too, like it's interesting how everyone kind of like once they get to that point, it's like you know what you want and you don't change your order. Like all of our regulars get the same thing every single day.
It's always like they walk in the bar, it's like you want the usual, and they're like,
Like it's rare. It's rare that you stray away from it. So that's like nice. It's easy for our Kavatenders to remember what everybody wants. But
and they love it too. They love it. They get so happy. They're like, "Oh, you remember?" And it's like, "Yeah, great."
Yeah,
It's the only
you have
thing
it.
we got.
You have it like there ready.
Yeah.
Like there's the one guy that comes in and he always gets like the crushed green, no ice, and sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 4. But like he walked in and I had it like ready, and he was like, "You knew?" And I was like, "I saw you like from the far end of the parking lot, and I knew you weren't going to change it. Like you've never changed it. So here."
I used to do that with you and John. Because John used to come in and he'd always go straight for the bathroom, and by the time he got out, I'd have all 4 of your drinks ready, and he'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, he loved that. Yeah. He loved that. Now
I
like,
loved
he always
it
has
too,
to wait for
because I felt
it.
like, yeah, I know what you want.
I'm the one that like changes it.
I'm the
more.
best. Tip me.
Tip me.
Well, and then there was yesterday, Harry had to go get like lunch, and I was behind the bar, and I don't know how to even use the new POS system. So I was like, what do you want? Like, and then she's like, "Can I combine these 2 discounts?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" I don't work here.
I don't work here, but I work here every single day.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah. She doesn't work behind the bar anymore.
No. I know like a few buttons on the POS system because of bringing it to the farmer's market.
Oh yeah.
But like I was definitely stumped. We're like Cindy hopped behind the bar and she was like, "Let me help you." I was like,
Wait, so why did you like steer away from being like a Kavatender?
I mean, to be brutally honest, having your older sister as the manager and your boyfriend as the owner, and then being a Kavatender is not the best position.
Yeah.
I think I was kind of like biting the bullet before something hit the fan, where it's like, let's keep personal and business separate. Whereas like in my marketing and like social media lane, I'm in
like that's your own
lane.
field.
Yeah. I'm in my own lane.
No one tells you what to do.
Yeah. I'm over here and I can like focus on my job. But if I'm behind the bar and I'm like, she didn't order raspberry syrup. You know what I mean? Like, and then I'm like, you guys should do this and you guys should do that and this process sucks. And then it's just like, that's where the resentment gets built up. And
I think it's such a fun job though. You know what
I mean, it is a lot of fun. Like, I love working behind the bar, but I can see where you're coming from. Definitely see where you're coming from.
And then like that's not to mention too like the social anxiety and stuff like that where. So when I worked behind the bar, and then you can attest to this too, because you've been there since day one.
Yeah, I see you work behind the bar in the beginning.
When I worked behind the bar, it was so slow that it's like you made $15 in tips for your entire day shift.
That's not true.
Oh, for me it was.
What?
It was slow.
I would never get $15 tips.
I've had slow days.
No.
Yeah, but what days did you work though? Because like it was like a Monday morning.
I've been there from the beginning.
Yeah.
Longer than you guys have showed up. You know what I mean? So it's like, even when it was slow as fuck, like when there's like nobody in the bar, maybe the lowest tips I ever got at the end of my shift when I checked, maybe like $30 or $40.
Okay, so that's still not like it's still not that much better than what she's getting.
Yeah, but 15, I'm like, when she came into the picture, I'm just thinking, I'm like, logically that's just way too low. Like obviously something went wrong. Like,
but like you
I
also
don't think people like
you also had like
okay.
customers that knew you. Like you brought like I started going to Kava Love because of you. So like we
also like we had a lot of people who didn't like us because of us taking over the way we did. So people were kind of skeptical on us and thought that we were
new.
Exactly.
You guys were new to the community.
But also like
and you weren't the most social person at that point either.
But I'm also not a pretty little blonde girl either.
No, but you're so beautiful.
You are.
You shouldn't say that. You are.
But anyways, but so it was slow back then.
Don't do that.
And it was easier to work when it was slow with like social anxiety and stuff than now. I think it'd be a little bit too overwhelming.
I do give you guys props though for you guys being such a new like team into this like community. For you guys to have stepped up the way that you guys did so fast and picked up with everything that was going on in the community and made the bar #1 in like basically our county and stuff. I give you like so much credit for that because not a lot of people can do that. What her boyfriend and what her sister went through was insane. Like, they had to do so much in order to let this bar get off the ground, you know what I mean? And, like, seeing it from the beginning compared to, like, how it was and how it was ran beforehand and how it's ran now. Like, this bar is the most professional, cleanest, most organized bar out of any of the bars in Southwest Florida that I know personally, and I've been to a good amount of them. But yeah, I just want to give you credit for that because you guys did a lot, and it showed a lot. Because like Bree, she didn't know what she was doing when she got put into that management position.
Learning curve for everybody.
No,
it was a mess before you guys showed up.
You know, I kind of like gave her job. Do you know what I mean?
I'll be sure to tell her that.
No, not like in the sense of like I made her manager or whatever, but literally
to get her, you
I started
her as a Kavatender there.
Basically, no. So like she called or something, or she came in the bar, I think, and we were talking because she was telling me she was a photographer, and so she was showing me pictures of real estate and stuff, and then I remember. She was like, yeah, I can take pictures of the bar for you guys for Google, you know, because we didn't even have that set up yet. And so then I called Lawrence and I was like, hey, you should really hire her and let her be the photographer here or something, you know, and like, you know, let her kind of work for us because I think she'd be a good a tribute to the team. And then he ended up hiring her. She ended up assistant manager, and then now she's literally like grown so far into positions, and it's crazy that it's kind of like I kind of pushed it a little bit into that path. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think like you're probably one of the only people who has seen not only the bar, but like her and like Michael in the entire transition.
Oh, I've seen you guys grow like crazy.
Yeah.
Like Brie had no idea what she was doing in the beginning, but now she's like a badass. Like she's so good at what she does. You know what I mean? She literally like dedicates her life to this bar.
And now we're gonna do it all over again with you.
Yeah.
So we'll see how good we really are when we just, start one from scratch.
No, I think it's gonna kill though, because you guys already have a system down. I think the second location is gonna just be
I think it would
banger.
be, Because coming into like somewhere that's already been run by somebody else and very poorly, like there was a lot of like fixing, and then there was like trust issues with like all the regular, like there's a whole bunch of stuff that you were having to battle.
So much. You know what I mean? You learn like literally all the downs of a business because of the way they guys like.
Oh, we've definitely learned so much, and I think like in terms of, I've learned a lot of what it takes to open and run a business through running my own separately and like watching this one and being a part of this one, and I think like it's honestly the biggest thing that I say is like anyone can do it, first of all, and seeing the state of which we got this bar and being like, okay, if they can do it, we can do it.
No, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, and nothing has to be perfect.
No.
Because I think growing up, I was always like, oh, like it would have to be 100% perfect. Like they couldn't see like any flaws. Like if there was like a scratch on the wall, like you're shut down, you're done. Like if everything wasn't like exactly perfect, it's like they'd notice and your business would suck. But it's like we've gone through so many different issues. Like
it's just like so funny because we're like, oh, scratch the wall, but we literally were there painting the walls one night, and when it dried, we're like, oh, those streaks.
Yeah. And then
it'll be okay.
Exactly,
that's streaky.
But
it's
like
fine.
in my head, when that happened, I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna go out of business because the wall looks like shit.
No one's ever commented on it. Like no one's noticed.
Cares. But it's crazy how like growing up, you kind of look at it as, oh, it's so hard to do a business. It's so hard. Like, and everything has to be perfect, and you have to hire people to do every little job so that it looks perfect. But it's like, no.
Yeah.
You really don't.
No.
So I think like that's the biggest thing I've learned, and that's why I'm kind of not scared to open a new location, because I know that even if it's not 100%, like I think if we had bare bones walls, as long as it had a roof, a floor, and some chairs for people to sit in, they'd come. And yeah.
And botanical teas and kava.
I wanted to like literally call this podcast like Bad Word, like
what?
Spill the like bad word.
Street.
I know, literally. But like I like the idea of that being a bad word to me is like something that I wanted to like project, because people are like, well, why is it a bad word? It's like
I still don't understand why it's a bad word.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. That's the thing.
Yeah. There's a bad bird.
No.
I heard bad bird and it was like Sesame
bad
Street.
Word.
Like
bad word.
Yeah,
bad
like
word. Why is it a bad word?
Because we have more like spill the tea, but I want to be like spill the bad word tea. Like
that might be a little bit too long.
Yeah.
It doesn't flow quite.
No,
that's nice.
But what I was gonna pitch into what you were saying earlier, because it's like you were saying we don't really need much in the second location in order for people to actually come in, and I think that's 100% true, because I feel like not only is there a community in the like Kava industry here in Naples, but I think that the community we have established and built in our own bar, and like our name being out there, like it's insane. Like I will go to like Chick-fil-A and I've never seen these people in my life, and I have like a Kava Love hat on, and they automatically are like, oh my god, you go there? Yeah. Like my friends go there, you know, and it's kind of like a popular place to be almost.
It's funny, like I always get that too, where it's like my friends go there. It's not I go there, it's my friends go there. It's kind of like they're trying to like test the waters, because it's like their friends go and they probably like are like, like no, I don't really want to go there.
I always hype it up. I'm like, bro, you should come.
Yeah,
like,
I'm always trying to get everyone to go.
I'll hook it up. Like
it's like they need that like they need that additional like peer pressure from someone they don't know to confirm.
So the whole thing is like with the like, oh, people go there, like people don't know it exists. If you're not in the Kava world, you don't know it exists. And anywhere you go in Southwest Florida, there's like a Kava bar there. There's so many. But because if you're not in that world, you don't know it's there. So when you hear about it for the first time, when you go in for the first time, it's like a shock because you're like, what is this? And it's not like, you can only really get exposed to it if you go to it. Like you're not gonna go to a bar and have an option for a kava or a tea drink while you're at a bar. Like you're not gonna get exposed to it anywhere else unless you're in a kava bar, pretty much.
I feel like it's like either you don't know anything about it and you walk into the bar and you're kind of like, well, like, you know, show me your ways, and you're just kind of like, teach me, you know, with that mindset. Or you're that type of person that is so against it, and you hear all these stereotypes, like, oh, my kid died from botanical teas, and it's like, well, no, your kid died from heroin, you know what I mean? So it's literally like, it's like one or the other. It's like either you have someone super open-minded or you have someone that's so against it thinking it's an opioid. And I actually was talking to my doctor, who's very big in like natural holistic medicine, and he knows a good amount. He's the best like doctor I've seen ever. He's very well educated. He was actually telling me that in order to classify botanical teas or kava as an opioid, you would have to drink an excessive amount to a point where you're drowning yourself in the powder. You know what I mean?
That's like,
so it's impossible.
I was talking to, I don't know like what I can say about her, but I was talking to I don't know. I was talking to my cousin, and she works in the FBI, and she like used to work in the FBI. And she used to work in like the drug enforcement part.
Nice.
And she said that like, you know, her first exposure to the tea was because she was having to arrest somebody for smuggling like a lot into the country. But then she was like, she also said, you know, like because she's still on contract, she's like, I won't try it, but like I would love to try it. She's like, there's really no reason that I could come up with why it's classified as such a high level drug. It's literally because we don't know what it is.
But then it's
We
also
do though.
like,
But we do.
It's the FDA. It's like the same thing with marijuana.
But it's also like, and especially now that marijuana is legal too. So now we have tobacco, that, and alcohol. Who those companies have massive amounts of money to make sure that this stays something that's the bad guy.
Yeah.
We don't have the money to project studies and like protests and bills and ads and all those things. Right.
It will get there.
That's something that we would like really want to push, especially me, because I'm like, when someone asks me all these questions at a farmer's market, or even when the lady comments on Twitter saying my son got killed by this stuff, like I would love to have a million facts that I can spew back to her, but the truth is that we don't have any studies. The only studies that have been done have been in third world countries, and they're not regulated. They're not like, it's, I think I was like reading one, and it was like there was only like 3 girls, and it was all like men, and it's like that's not a good study, you know?
No.
So, and it's,
but I feel like it's going to be advocated in the right way. It's being advocated right now to like push psychedelic medicine, and in Oregon they actually legalized psilocybin mushrooms. So I think if mushrooms can get to that point where everyone was horrified of psychedelic medicine literally 10 years ago, you know what I mean? I don't see why botanical teas and kava wouldn't get to that point as well.
right.
You know what I mean? Because it's actually pretty funny. You said marijuana is legal. It's actually not legal at all. It's such an illegal drug still, according to the FDA. But it just depends on every state. You know?
It depends on every state, and like there was like a whole thing too where it's like we have like marijuana and like alcohol, and I mean, marijuana is like getting to become like pretty legal. Like
slowly.
It's a lot more tolerated.
Right.
And it's way more understood as being beneficial. But like even those two fields that are huge, you can drink too much, you can't drive. You can smoke too much, you can't drive. You can drink this all day. You can go to work. You can drive. You can hang out with your kids. Yeah. You're fine. You're literally fine. You can
even bring your kids
to the bar. It's fine.
It's such a safe space, you know, and I think if people kind of saw that, I think a lot of more people would jump on the, bandwagon of it all, you know.
Yeah, it's just because, like, it's not something you can, like, Google and get much information on outside of, like, traditional uses in the Pacific.
And the fact that it's killed a handful of people who have gotten it from a gas station or in a back
and
alley
they did it,
to their
and they
heroin dealer.
Yeah, they did it wrong, and it was in combination with, like,
I
other things.
Clicked on an article, I clicked on an article the other day, and it was like, killed my botanical teas, killed my... See, it sounds even worse and, like, unrealistic when you say botanical teas killed my 22-year-old son.
A tea killed my son.
And then you read the description, and it was like, my son was addicted to oxy, opioid, like, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But that's not what killed him.
I'm sure it wasn't pharmaceuticals that killed your son.
Right.
I'm sure it's a tea, a leaf from a tree.
Right. And then
that people have been ingesting for years and years and years and years.
Right.
No, but it's super crazy, though, because it's not only that, like, yeah, like our community, once you're in the community, you are so educated about it. But I was actually in the Kava community on the West Coast for a second when I went back to visit my best friend Serena. We stopped by at a bar in Berkeley, and I was talking to the bartender, and I was wondering why they weren't serving any botanical teas, because I was more of an advocate for that than the Kava. Because all they were serving was Kava, but they were literally looking at me as if I was like a drug addict. While in Berkeley, literally when there's probably 40 homeless people outside, so it's kind of hypocritical of them to be like, oh, well, that's like an opioid, you know what I mean? I'm like, you're in the community, how are you not educated to know that this is safe?
Right.
Yeah.
They literally, like, the bartender was telling me, he was like, dude, people in Florida are crazy. Like, all you guys are just addicts. I'm like, that's not it.
And
that's not it.
Just not educated in the right way.
And
you know what I
there's
mean?
a whole community of people, too, who are, like, we call them, like, Kava snobs. And, like, their Kava has to be premium, and it has to be plain, and you can't serve it. And
you have to know the specific strain,
the creamy
and where
little
it's
drinks.
from.
Yeah.
And they look at this as just like fluff on top of it, whereas like, oh, we just drink the traditional Kava.
Like it's disrespecting. Like
exactly.
we're mocking the whole entire yeah.
And I think a little bit of that comes from that too, where it's like,
I could definitely see that when you're like coming from like somewhere where you had generations and ancestors of you guys in the family literally making Kava as like your ceremonial drink in the family. You know what I mean? In Hawaii, you know, and if you all of a sudden go to some random place and you see that it's not as spiritual and it's kind of like mixology is put into it, it's not really as like ceremonial as it would be in like that native places. I could see the disrespect.
But those aren't the
like,
snobs that we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're, like those are
the ones in Berkeley.
Yeah, those aren't. Yeah, that like the snobs that we're talking about are the white people with dreads and like
that think that they're
the people that like only do things according to other cultures' traditions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're like, no, that's how you do it in this culture strictly, and
but
it's like, but you're also not a part of that culture.
Yeah.
So if you're doing their tradition, isn't that like, just let me drink my drink, bro. Like, just let me have my damn tea and, like, enjoy it.
Like, they're the most, like, fucking, what's it called? European mutt.
Yeah.
They're the most, like, oh, I'm Irish, German, Russian, and Portuguese. But I follow all these different cultures, and I have this religion, and I believe in this and this and that. And I am one with the earth and life. You know what I mean? It's like, are you really gonna listen to someone who doesn't know who the fuck they are?
The person that lives in the mountains. They're just calling me. Like, it's that type of person.
The sun talks to me. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's literally the snob that
people.
I'm thinking of.
No,
when it's like, I will only drink it. Like, that's what I think of. I don't think of, like, people that actually, it is a part of their culture, and it is a big deal to them. Like, that I fully understand.
And I think one of the things that we changed, too, about Kava Love, in a respectful way too, is that we would call it like a traditional kava bar, and I think that we took that wording away because we're not. We're a modern Americanized kava bar.
No,
we're not traditional. We don't mix it and serve it with our hands. We don't use it in ceremonies. Like we aren't like trying.
Yeah, we're not trying to be that.
Yeah.
We're not trying to say that.
We're taking an amazing product in something that has really cool history and turning it into something different.
That like
everybody
can have and
that
enjoy.
like
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah, because
the
original bar threw some tiki things up on the wall and called it traditional. Like
No. Yeah.
Like
not the case.
But I feel like out of all the bars, I feel like we have respected the culture more than any other bar.
I would agree with that in the sense of not tolerating people who come in drunk or come in wanting to get high and buzz,
right?
Who want to get fucked up.
Like also it's the environment that we set for everything. Like the bar itself is tropical, kind of more native to those Pacific islands. You know what I mean? It's kind of more of that like cozy
we've taken
feeling.
like a lot of
a
lot of the bars are trying to make it like a place where like a substitute for partying,
like,
you know, and they're trying to give you that same atmosphere, and we're like, no, like this is what it is. It's like a social thing. Like it's for
a community.
Yeah, it's for your community. So like us in the bar, like we're a full-on community. Like every single person that goes there, like we know like so much about all of them. Like we're so like we're all involved in each other's lives now. Like we are an actual community, and that's
100%.
the setting that we have for it. We didn't try to be anything other than that.
And I think originally, like I've only been here for 2 years, and I think when we came down, the Kava community in Florida alone used to be more tight-knit and kind of like took care of each other, and I think now everyone's kind of been separated.
Yeah.
But everybody's so chill with each other at the end of the day. It's like, oh, you drink botanical teas and kava, what's up? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, oh, cool.
But
like,
I think like the bars themselves used to work together more, and I think that's not necessarily
like the community is
anymore.
still there, but like the businesses are
finding
their
own. But I think that that's something that I know me and Michael, who that's how we experienced it in the beginning, and we really like loved that and want to like hold on to that and grasp that. And that's why we treat anyone who does like have it or go to any of the other bars like they are family.
Right.
And like that's something that we definitely like to translate through all of our locations.
Like we take care of like the other bars' employees when they come to our bar. Like we make
100%.
everybody super welcome.
It's a respect thing.
Yeah.
Well, and then it was like so even if you went to Fort Lauderdale and you worked at a kava bar in Naples, you'd get a discount if you were a Kavatender. And like a lot of places have gotten rid of that. And like that's something that I know Michael was like furious about, because it's like you're taking away the community. You're taking away.
You're making it more of like a market business than something that was more of that niche community that started in the beginning.
And like this, and none of it would be where it is now if it wasn't for that community.
Right, right. Because that's where like I know when there's a certain new bar that opened, and I took everybody. I was like, let's go check out the new one. Let's go. Like. And
everyone was okay with that.
Yeah, and it's like
everyone was supporting each other.
If you do that and you go to a bar and they kind of like don't have that same, like they don't have the discount, they don't, like they're not as friendly with you, they just kind of like serve your drinks and then you're just another customer. But it's like that community, like if you go and they do like engage with you a little bit more and treat you like family, you're gonna go back again.
Yeah.
And you're gonna take more people, like your customers too. Like, you're a Kavatender, you're not just a customer. If you're going, like, that's a big step, and that says, I support you, and I support your business, and your customers will follow.
Yeah.
And if you all work together, then all of the bars succeed.
Yeah.
But that's how I wish it still was.
Yeah.
But I think the reason why it kind of shifted into that path instead of keeping it into that niche, like, good, wholesome community, Brittney.
Come on.
But I think there's just such a high stress in the market, you know what I mean? Because think about it, it went from a couple bars in your area to now there being over 400 Kava bars in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So from a business perspective, you are now competing with so many different places that it's such a high stress market now because it's such a new thing. You know, everyone's trying to kind of like make it so that it's a little bit better so people can actually come in and enjoy, you know, the bar and the atmosphere and whatnot, because there's so many options now. Like, it's not like any of the people that come into Kava Love, you know, like, we're like, oh no, you have to stay here or whatever. We know people go to other Kava bars and stuff.
We encourage it.
Yeah. We encourage it too, but it's like other places, like, they're kind of like more, I would say, like, stressed out or like overwhelmed at the fact that like people go to other Kava bars, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think people kind of are like, oh, why are you going there? You know what I mean?
Like, they think if they go somewhere, like if their customers go somewhere else, they're not going to come back.
Yeah. So
and it's like, it's not like that. Like, if you have a good culture in your bar.
But that's like the fear factor of like the business side of it. You know what I mean?
But like, I mean, because like,
that,
we're so stable that, we're so stable that if our customers go somewhere else, we're not worried if they're not going to come back. You know, so I think you're right. Like, it is like an internal thing. Like, if that's like your worry, then maybe there's something internally that you need to be working on at your bar.
What's the TikTok? It's like humble enough to know you'll find another girlfriend, but cocky enough to know she won't be better than me. And that's kind of like how I feel about the Kava bar. It's like, yeah, go ahead, check them all out. Like,
yeah, you come back. You come back.
Like, you know, and that's like all jokes aside, but like, we do encourage people to try it, and we want you to have the best experience with it. It doesn't have to be with us.
Because we also we want our customers to be educated. We want our customers to be educated as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like, because I mean, I feel like undeniably have great products, but everywhere you go, it's always a little bit different the way it's done everywhere.
They always brew it differently.
Yeah, so it's like, go to other bars and see like how their drinks make you feel. Make sure you like understand like what it is that you're drinking, how like why you like our drinks. Is it just the drink in general? Is it the way we make it? I want you to be able to go somewhere else and understand what they're selling. So if you're out of town and you go to a Kava bar, you're not going to end up sick because you don't understand the way they make their drinks.
Right. But I feel like there are some places that don't educate their customers enough, and I don't think there are some bars that educate their bartenders enough.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
We spoke about this a lot in the last one.
Like, there needs to be a higher education with the community when it comes to selling products and advocating for this type of, you know, space and whatever. Because I feel like some places that I would go to, they will literally just serve you dirt in like water, and they don't do any mixology with it. It's such a high tolerant drink, like you need a high tolerance for it, and the bartenders just won't like tell any of the customers, hey, like, you might end up sick, you know, if you drink the entire thing.
Yeah.
And then people have such a bad experience off of that one bar that they decided to go to, and then they never want to try it ever again, you know, and that's a huge problem.
That's like one of my biggest fears. It's like, and why I like wish that there was some organization to hold all of the Kava bars accountable and be like, you need to be part of this association to be a recognized Kava bar, and then you know it's a safe place to go and they're going to do things right and educate you.
It's more regulated.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas like, if you do things wrong, like, you're not going to be part of this association, we're not going to recommend that everyone goes to you and gets sick. Like, it's because it really does make a difference. Like, we've had a lot of people, and I know there's been a few people at the farmers market who have said, oh yeah, like I've had it before, but I got really sick. And then one of the big things is we've had a lot of people say that they're allergic to kava. And I'm like, because your tongue gets tingly. But no one freaking tells you.
Like your tongue goes numb.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a normal
Everyone
thing.
Thinks they're allergic to it.
Oh my god, that's horrifying. Imagine drinking something and then like freaking
No one's letting
out.
you know. Yeah, your tongue's gonna go numb.
So think about the amount of people that
What is going on?
Think about how many people or lost customers that we've had, or people who still to this day drink alcohol on a regular basis when they could be having kava and tea instead.
Yeah.
Because
they think they're allergic.
Yeah.
And this is so much better for you too. It's insane. This helps your IBS.
Yeah,
it helps
a lot of
everything.
things.
It has
Helps
so
a lot
much
of things.
fiber in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's good.
It's like
Just
good.
like the accountability of like all the bars, and we talked about this a lot, I think, in the last one.
When I started bartending there, like I think I gave someone a shot, and like I saw it on their face, like after they took it, that they were like,
yeah,
like they could feel something happening in their mouth, and I was like, it makes your tongue go numb. It's it's a weird feeling.
Normal.
It's normal. Don't worry.
Don't freak
It's
out.
crazy, like the people, like the idea of walking into a bar and not getting an explanation. And like we've had instances where one of my favorite things is to go to a new Kava bar, and I love seeing the different vibes, the different people, and the different drinks.
And their knowledge about it too.
Right, and we do it on purpose sometimes, where we'll go in and say that we've never had it before, because we want to get the take. We want to see, like we want
your spiel. Yeah.
Right. We want to know what you have to say about it, and then we say we haven't had it, and they don't explain, and it's like they're just like, okay, well here's our menu, and it's like, you're not gonna tell me everything about
Like,
it?
what's your name?
Yeah.
Do you even care about me? You know what I mean?
Care about me?
Just left here all alone.
But on the topic of like spiel, I think I've said before, I really like yours. I think you have one of
She's got the most
impressive, in-depth, like knowledgeable spiel. So like let's go through that a little bit in terms of like if someone new came in, like how would you describe? Start with Kava.
Okay. Well, usually we have 2 menus, kind of showing like the different information that we have. That's kind of like the basis of everything. But I kind of go over it as like whenever someone comes in, I'm like, have you been here before? And they're like, no. And then I'm like, all right, do you know anything about it? And usually they're like, no. I'm like, okay. So there's 2 different types of plants that we serve here. There's Kava, and then there is botanical tea. So they're both separate plants, but they both come from the same family. They both come from the coffee family. But Kava actually comes from the root of the plant, whereas the botanical tea comes from the leaves of a plant. So they both hit the same receptors, your GABA receptors, which are kind of the same receptors that get hit whenever you drink alcohol. Your GABA receptors are the receptors in your body that make you a chill person, basically. It's what calms your nervous system down completely. So for you to be drinking this botanical tea and Kava, you will be getting like a relaxing effect out of it. But Kava is a lot more earthier than Kava is a lot more earthier than botanical tea. The tea itself is more similar to a green tea, and then I present them both with like a sample of Kava and the tea, and I'm kind of like, all right, try it. You know, I want you to understand the basis of it. And then they're always like, oh, like Kava tastes like shit, and I'm like, wait, and then I pour some creamer in there, and they're like, whoa, this is so much better. And then I kind of go into depth with how the tea, because Kava is a little bit different. There's only Kava, and then I kind of go into how Kava is the same way as marijuana, because everybody knows how there's like sativa, hybrid, and indica. So for me, that's like the best way to kind of make someone understand that it's the same idea with the tea. So I'm always like, we have something that's stimulating, we have a neutral, and we have something ultra relaxing. And depending on which one you get, you'll get a slightly different effect depending on who you are as a person, how your body works, and whatever. You kind of have to experiment on your own. Everybody's different. And then I always explain how the green tea is the green strain is the most neutral, because the white strain can actually make you jittery. Some people take the white strain as like a pre-workout or something to make them super focused. So some people shake, some people are super sensitive and they can't handle it. And then some people, when they drink red for the first time, which was the ultra relaxing strain, they tend to kind of be super sleepy their first time. So that's super unappealing. You know what I mean? You don't want to fall asleep drinking something for the first time when it's the middle of the day. So I always tell people, I'm like, start off with green. Let's see how your body feels. If you react well, like, you can go from there and experiment with whatever after that, you know. And then I kind of explain after that, you know, there's the tea and you kind of drink more to get that effect. I kind of say it's kind of like beer, you know, you kind of need like 1 or 2 beers to get like that small buzz that you're looking for. You know, it's not something that you're gonna have one martini and be like a little bit tipsy, you know what I mean? It's definitely a little bit different. You have to slow pace yourself. And then I kind of explain how Kava is a strain by itself, but there's a huge reverse tolerance with Kava. So you do have to drink a lot in the beginning in order to get any effect in the end. But it's kind of more, and I have to explain this to people, I'm like, Kava is an investment with yourself. You spend a lot of money in the beginning, but then as you drink as like much, later on you're not going to need as much. So in the end, you're not going to spend as much. It's an investment with yourself and your own body. And that's something that's going to be long-term beneficial for like a quick fix. Whereas with the teas, you kind of have, your tolerance builds every single time you have a drink. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, you can't, like, in the long run, you're going to end up not being able to feel much like how we do. But in the beginning you will. So if you need something that's a quick fix, like right now, and you're having an anxiety attack, drink some green kratom right now. But if you want some long-term health benefits, like, definitely stick with Kava. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always let people know too that like Kava is going to affect your body more than your mind. Like your body, it will relax your body down. Like today, like I was like jittery and shaky with like just like the ants under my skin feeling, and the Kava like kind of took that. But if I had drank a tea, I might not have gotten that effect. Might have made my mind more alert or made like my mind calm, but like the actual anxiety in my body wasn't gonna really go anywhere.
Yeah, I usually explain a little bit more than I did right now. Like,
you have a long spiel,
but
because
like,
you get to spend.
It's very educated, you know. I want to educate the people when they first come in, because then they're like, "Wow, this is awesome! I'm learning so much. This is something new." You know?
It's important.
Not a lot of adults get to learn something new every single day when they step into a new business. You know what I mean? Everyone already kind of like sees the same thing, goes to the same places, whatever. Yeah. So I kind of like to educate.
All right. Well, thank you again, guys, for tuning in and watching us. We'll definitely have Vanessa again sometime, but, you know, it's been great. So, thanks.
Thanks for having me.